I am doing something today I've never done before. I'm taking a DNA test and turning it in to find out more about what is in my genetic code. And I'm interested for health reasons, and so I went ahead and ordered the 23andMe health and ancestry packet. But then I also thought, well, I wonder what's in the ancestry.com version, and I'm curious about what that might show that's different. So I'm going to compare the two. I'm doing both of them. I'm going to compare the two, what the experience is in using them, like how easy they were to use. But then also, when I get the reports back, I'm going to compare what kind of information I got back so I can decide which of them would have been more valuable for me. It'll be hindsight, but maybe it'll help somebody else make a decision. Why I'm interested in doing it is I'm always curious to learn more about myself. And I am especially curious about my family and where my family's been, migratory patterns, and things that they may have participated in, parts of history they may have been part of. So I'm curious about that. There's things that I won't know and I can't find out because, like, my father doesn't want to do a DNA test. I will never know what was encoded on his Y chromosome. So that's kind of sad. I was hoping I would get to find that out because it shows migratory patterns of the men in my family tree, his lineage of men through his side of the family. But there's a lot I can find out. I found out that mother's DNA, the mitochondrial DNA, comes from the mother, and so that is unchanged and unmutated. So that I can look at my mother's lineage going all the way back, and I can see those migratory patterns and groups as they move across the globe and as they migrated. So it's interesting. Some of the stories that have me wanting to know more about my genetics are things that I learned from my grandparents. So when I was telling my grandfather once that I love donkeys and I had a donkey once, he said, "Oh, that's interesting. My father was a mule breeder." So my great-grandfather, something I didn't know, worked with horses and donkeys and bred mules. And I thought, well, I wonder if there's a genetic preference in there somehow for donkeys. I don't know. And then my grandmother, when I told her I was going to be growing woodland herbs on our property in the country, she said, "Wow, that's really interesting because my uncles used to go out into the woods and gather the wild herbs and sell to the snake oil salesman so that he could create his potions and brews and sell to other people." And I'm like, that totally appeals to me. I've always been attracted to the idea of wild crafting herbs. So I thought maybe that's genetic. Anyway, there have been enough stories in my family history, things that are connected to people I never knew personally, that I wonder maybe there's a genetic memory of that or something. So anyway, that's why I'm doing this. I'm curious what I'll find out. Maybe I'll find some relatives I didn't know I had, and I'm kind of excited to do this.